So we're going to look at how to calculate equilibrium. This is with government interventions and also when to how to sketch. So we have a question where we're given the inverse supply and inverse demand functions. So we're asked to calculate the equilibrium price and quantity, consumer surplus, total surplus, and the producer surplus. So in this case, we shall firstly go into the principles of demand and supply. So demand is going to supply at equilibrium. So when we are dealing with equations, we need to understand that if we are going to sketch a demand function which is downsloping, the supply function is upsloping, where they meet is called equilibrium. So if you have numbers like 100, 64, 10, and maybe 18 here, and 0 there. So this area here of the triangle is called the consumer surplus. And this area here is called the producer surplus. Now these areas are areas of triangles which are given by half pH. Are we together? So if we're given this scenario, you can calculate the two areas. So here the area, the distance from here to here is 18. The distance from here to here is 36. The distance from here to here is 54. And the distance from here to here is still 18. So half the base is 18 and the height is 36. So when you calculate half the base is 18, the height is what? 54. So this will give us the two areas, 0.5 times 18 times 36. We're going to get 324. Half times 18 times 54. We're going to get 486. The total is called the total surplus, which is 810. So plus 324, that is 810. So this is called the consumer surplus. This is called the producer surplus, and this is called the total surplus. The other term for the total surplus is called the deadweight loss. Now, how do we sketch equations if we're given equations and you're not given a diagram? For instance, if you're given 100 minus 2Q, you're given price is given by 10 plus 3Q. So in this case, we're going to what? Equate this, because at equilibrium, we know that the supply is equal to the demand. So 100 minus 2Q and 10 plus 3Q. So here will be 100 minus 10. Here will be 2Q plus 3Q. So here we're going to get 90, and here we're going to get 5Q. So when you divide both sides, we discover that our Q is equal to 18. And this 18 can be factored in any of these two. So we're going to calculate now the value of what? The price. So 10 plus 3Q. So where there's Q, the Q, put a 3. So here what we're going to get is 64. So this is our equilibrium price. So we also need to learn how to sketch. So without sketching or knowing the actual intercepts, what is our equilibrium price? Our equilibrium price was 64. Put it there. Price equilibrium 64. Our equilibrium quantity, it was 18. So you put 18 there. So what we now need to do is calculate the intercepts. 1, 2, 3. Intercepts are simple cutting points. Then maybe for supply, you can even, just for the sake of plotting, 4. This is supply and this is demand. So let's go to the demand function just to scrutinize it. We're given the demand function as what? 100 minus 2Q. So how do we sketch this? It is easy. You put the letters on one side. So when the 2 goes inside, we're positive, then we equate it to 100. So as a 1 there, 1 into 100, get 100. 2 into 100, we get a 50. So our prices here, our quantities there. So when you go here, we get 100. When we go here, we get a 50. So this is called our demand function. They were also given the supply, which was given that P is equal to 10 plus 3Q. So we're going to bring this aside with P minus 3Q is equal to 10. So there's a number 1 there. 1 into 10, we have a 10. Negative 3 into 10 is negative 3.33. So to sketch this here, we're going to have the following scenario. Negative 3.33 on Q, since this is Q, and on P, we're going to have positive 10. Positive 10. So this is our supply, and this is our demand. Now, collectively, we can sketch this on one graph. When you sketch this on one graph, it will come out something like this. So we found our equilibrium price was 64, equilibrium quantity was 18. In the intercepts, here we have a 10. You put the 10 here. Here we have the what? 100 for this one. I'm putting 100 there. This, although we will not need it, is a 50. So now this gives us the two areas that we started with, A and B. So these areas are the ones we calculated. Remember, we're at 64, we're at 100, we're at 10, 18. This, in this case, are 50 that we just rendered useless. So to find the consumer surplus for area A, we use half BH. To find the consumer surplus for area B, half BH. The total surplus is what we call our our social welfare. So this is how this was supposed to be handled. Now, let's look at an exam type of a question. This came last year, where we've been given the following functions. Our demand function has a negative slope. Our supply function has a positive slope. So our demand and our supply has been given. So let's calculate using what we just learned. So our demand function is 10 minus Q. Our supply function is 2 plus Q. So what happens at equilibrium? We equate these two. So demand must be equal to supply. So 10 minus Q is equal to 2 plus Q. So this is 10 minus 2 is equal to what? Q plus Q. So this is 8 is equal to 2Q. So when we divide both sides by 2, our Q is therefore equal to what? 4. So I'll have the supply function because it's straightforward when calculating the equilibrium price. So since we've calculated what our Q is, we substitute to get our 6 for equilibrium. I usually put a small e down there just to show that this is equilibrium price, it's equilibrium quantity. So even if I don't know the intercepts, it's dangerous to rewrite the intercepts because sometimes the intercepts will come from another direction there. So it's important to verify where they're coming from. Wherever they're coming from, at least we know that our equilibrium price is 6 and quantity is 4. So now we want to calculate the intercepts. So the first part has been answered. Now we have calculated 2 marks here, equilibrium price 4, and our equilibrium quantity is equilibrium price is 6, equilibrium quantity 4. So 6, 4. This is our 6, and this is our 4. Is it clear so far?
Yes.
All right. So if that is clear, I will proceed to calculating the consumer surplus and the producer surplus. So can I proceed? So now to calculate the producer surplus and consumer surplus, you first need to sketch. So now we go to sketching. So price is equal to 10 minus Q. How do we sketch this? This one will go on the other side, we are positive. So here we have 1 and here we have 1. So 1 into 10 is 10. 1 into 10 is 10. So we're going to have 10 for the price, and for the quantity, we're going to have a 10. All right. The other function was what? 2 plus Q. So I said you put the letters on one side. So here there's a 1 and here there's a 1. So 1 into 2 is 2. Negative 1 into negative 1 is negative 2. So starting from negative 2, then going up. This is a 2. This is a negative 2. So this is our supply and this is our demand. The equilibrium price was 6. The equilibrium quantity was 4. So which of these two areas is the consumer surplus and the producer surplus? Our area A is the consumer what? Surplus, which is half BH. So the base is what? 4. The height from here to here is also 4. So 4 times 4 is 16. 16 divided by 2 is what? 8. When you go to the B, the producer surplus is half BH. Our base is still what? 4. The height is still 4. So 4 times 4 is 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So area A plus area B is 8 plus 8, which is what? 16. So 16 is our consumer surplus, the total surplus. So now we have answered producer surplus 4, consumer surplus 4, total surplus 8. How many marks? 6 marks. All right. Any questions so far? So this question is supposed to come here. We have been given to say the government has set a price seal of 8 kwacha. Now, price ceiling is a government intervention that we really controls exploitation. For instance, if you have 10 there, you have 2 there, and we have 12 there, and they say government has sealed the price that no one should charge more than 8 kwacha. So this 8 kwacha will cause a disequilibrium. If you had 10 units, maybe here it has gone 5 units, then this one has come to 5 as well. So you're going to have 2 new small areas here. These ones. So this area for X has the distance from here to here is 5. From 10 to 8 is 2. Okay. So we do half pH for this one here. 5 times 2 is equal to 5. And also here, The 5 is still maintained, but the distance from here to here is 5 as well. Half times 5 times 5, which is half of 25, and 12.5. So here we're going to have 17.5. This is what we call the deadweight loss. And deadweight loss is a disequilibrium that occurs due to the taxes that are imposed. So deadweight loss is also known as excess tax burden. This term in economics is mainly used to explain inefficiencies that will occur when the equilibrium quantity and price are not at their ideal levels. So it comes about because of the reduction in the overall economic well-being that results in resources that are not allocated efficiently. So it is simply a distortion that arises due to price steals and floor prices. And so the question that we're going to look at now has a distortion. This distortion has been explained here to say we have been told by government to set the price at 8 kwacha. Now remember, our equilibrium was like this, so they put 8 kwacha there. So this 8 will touch the demand. So if this is price 8, what will happen to the demand function where there is price, we put 8 there. So when this one comes inside, it will be a positive Q. When the 8 goes inside, it will be a negative. So 8 from 10, we get a 2. So these 2 come here. Now these 2 also touch the what? The demand function. So where there's Q on the demand function here, where's the demand function? Demand function was 10. No, it's a supply function. Supply function was what? 2 plus Q. Where there's Q, we're going to put a 2. So 2 plus 2, we're going to get a 4. So this distortion will bring a 4 there. So we're going to have new graphs. So from here to here, this is 8 to 6, that is 2. From here to here, it's another 2. Then we go to here, 6 to 4, it's a 2. And that is also a 2. So we need to calculate the 2 areas here. So half this times height, so half 4 times 4, or 2 times 2 is 2. Even this one, half 2 times 2 is 2. So we're going to have a deadweight loss of 2 plus 2, which will give us a 4. So this whole area here is 4. So this is what we call the deadweight loss. So this is our deadweight loss. Now, they also want us to calculate the equilibrium price and quantity, the consumer and producer surplus, which is arising from the distortion, and also to show the values in the diagram which we have done. So that will remain your homework now. Calculate the consumer surplus, producer surplus at the price that has been set. What is the consumer surplus? What is the producer surplus? So we end here for now. I need you to redo this as your homework. Have a great day. Thank you so much.